Well, welcome everybody to another wonderful week of Power 10 Sports Talk. This is your host, Andrew Gibb. Joining me this week is the kid who does not know why the Raptors logo is known as Reptar, Brady Gibb. And our special guests, they have their show, Analyze This Sports Podcast. You can catch it in the link in our description below. Both wonderful guys. If you watched our show yesterday, you know they're absolutely hilarious. Kody Scott and Ryan Moreland.
Happy to be here.
I'm just so honored to be on a podcast with one of the 4 Clippers fans in the world. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is just it's like seeing a seeing a unicorn.
Yeah, it's neat.
All right, and for this special, we decided we come up with something pretty funny. It will be our all-time NFL rest team. Quick disclaimer before we start this: we do not condone the actions of these people. We do not agree with what they did. This is more just kind of like we want to see if we can create a mean machine better than the one Adam Sandler was on. These guys did not have to have been charged with the crimes. They just had to have been arrested. So that's just our quick disclaimer before we start this. We don't agree with anything some of these guys did. It's horrible what some of them did do. Some did make reconciliations for what they did, but still, we don't agree with the actions they committed. We don't agree with it in any way. So we'll get started. We'll just kind of go around. It'll go me, Kody, Brady, and Ryan. It would just kind of by position. And we'll see if we can reach a consensus on who we would have as our official starter. So starting off at QB, I think we all probably put the same one, Michael Vick. I got Vick at my number 1 and Dante Culpepper at my number 2. Vick was arrested for dogfighting. Dante Culpepper has the Vikings yacht party where there's cocaine and hookers and a bunch of other illegal stuff they all got caught with.
I got Baker Mayfield at 2.
All right, Kody, your number 2.
My number 2 is actually a homer pick. So this guy went to my high school, actually.
We picked the same guy.
Also played for the Colts. One of the biggest draft busts in NFL history, but a legend at Ohio State. And at Miami Trace High School, go Panthers, Art Schlichter.
Yeah, 100% went with Art. I was really doing it just to get under your skin, Kody, so it's upsetting that you picked him too.
Oh, hell no. He's the second best Miami Trace Panther of all time, next to yours truly. He never broke up a Joe Burrow pass. So.
Oh, my God.
All right. So I guess we're going to have Vic at starting QB. I think we all universally took him as one.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to see who we take it to. So
I do like this, though, that with Art Schlichter, real quick, is he was gambling on games, and that's like what he got in some trouble for with the NFL. But they said when he was on the sideline as a backup, he would have his play chart, and he would hide who he bet on inside of his play chart, so he could like scroll through his play chart and then be like, look at the screen in the arena and be like, okay, Philly's up by 6. I need them to cover. And like he could keep up with his stuff instead of actually paying attention to his job.
Yeah, my grandpa was friends with his parents, and one time they were all watching a basketball game together, and Art was there, and somebody went up to the free throw line, and Art made a call real quick, and then hung up, and they missed the free throw, and Art apparently lost $5,000 on that free throw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Right.
All right, moving on to the running back position. My starter, and we're going to have 2 because I think in this scheme you could have different setups. I was like 2 running backs. My running back number 1, O.J. Simpson. We all know we all know why. Doesn't need explained. We all know why. And my number 2 is Adrian Peterson. Did beat a switch child abuse. Horrible guy, but hell of a running back.
Great running back. Punished defenders, I would say, just as aptly as he'd punish his son.
We're so getting canceled for this one. I'm afraid to get into some of these positions.
So I also had OJ. My number 2, I didn't put AP. It kind of slipped my mind. I was between 2 guys, 2 AFC North guys, Cedric Benson and Jamal Lewis, and I went with Jamal Lewis just because he's a Brown homer pick. He had a 2,000-yard season, so I went with Jamal.
Not Corey Rice for the AFC North guy, or Kareem Hunt. There's a lot of AFC North running backs that got arrested. Right. Brady.
O.J. Simpson.
Any guy number 2?
AP.
All right.
Or Kareem Hunt.
I go with Kareem Hunt.
All right, I went OJ, of course, number 1. Number 2, Ricky Williams, which I had to dig to find this. But
I
Ricky
almost
got
thought about
pulled over for going 126 miles per hour in reckless driving and got arrested. So he's my number 2. But I have an honorable mention, Billy Cannon, who played in the 60s.
Okay.
He was the first player from LSU to ever win a Heisman Trophy. And then he went to the Oilers in the AFL days. But I just love, he was a kind of do-it-all guy. He played fullback and tight end as well as running back. But he got arrested after his playing days, was hurting for cash. And so he was running an operation where they printed millions of dollars in fake 100s, like fake $100 bills.
awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
So that dude's,
you don't see that one often. You don't
That
see
dude's
fraud
a
that
legend.
often.
Counterfeit. That's sweet.
oh yeah. Like, man, the hustle, you got to respect the hustle.
All right. So we got I gotta write some of these down so I can have it ready for the graphic. So OJ.
OJ for sure.
Gotta be OJ, yeah.
Can't have anyone besides the juice. All right, so now we're moving on to the running back position, or the wide receiver position, my bad. I figured have about 3 of these run trip set. I got number 1, Michael Irvin, gets arrested for cocaine and hookers in a motel room. Hell of a receiver in the Hall of Fame. Number 2, Julian Edelman, Super Bowl MVP, probable Hall of Famer, gets arrested for vandalism and assault in 2 different occasions. And my number 3, you couldn't do this list without him, Plexico Burress, discharging an illegal firearm into his own leg in a nightclub.
Yeah, great list. I also have Irvin and Burris, and then my number 3 was Randy Moss.
That's who mine was.
He was also arrested, not charged, but arrested. So we'll count him. But Michael Irvin, just a stand-up guy.
Yeah, slit a teammate's throat in the locker room. Surprisingly, wasn't arrested for that.
Yeah, no.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I got Michael Irvin. It's got to be like the NFL. Like if I said NFL and cocaine, you're like, oh, Michael Irvin. You're talking about Irving.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, he's definitely on there. Also arrested for sexual assault multiple times too. So dude's got a rap sheet. And then you gotta go with Plaxico. Accidentally shooting himself. That's gotta be on your list.
All-time moment, yeah.
But I went with guys, all of my guys on my list were convicted. So I had to find a guy here, and I went with a guy that was up and coming. And I think could have done bigger things than he did in the NFL. That's Chris Henry, who was in trouble all of the time throughout throughout college and throughout his pro career with the concealed weapons charge, assault, drunken disorderly. He had some drug abuse issues as well. Ended up dying when he ran down his girlfriend's truck, which is pretty impressive. I mean, that 40 time, they should have been clocking then. But he's a WVU guy, and I remember this is my favorite Chris Henry story is we're playing Temple back in the Big East days. I was at this game, and Temple's trash. WVU's just beating the snot out of him. And I can't remember exactly what Chris did, but he got thrown out of the game. I think it was his second call for taunting. But Chris gets thrown out of the game, and as he's going out, towards a tunnel, that last stretch is all Temple fans. It's like they all got that section. And he stops. They're booing him and yelling and stuff, and he just stops and then flips 2 birds in the sky and then just walks slowly. He's just flipping him the bird the whole time, slowly out and into the tunnel. So dude was a class act.
Yeah.
Classic move.
So Irvin and Flex absolutely in. I think
I have to go still.
Oh, okay. I thought you said yours was Randy
No.
and the other 2. Okay. Brady, I'm sorry.
Okay, I have Randy Moss 1, Irvin 2, and Josh Gordon 3.
Oh, Josh
Oh,
Gordon.
yeah. I don't know why I
Man.
didn't think of that.
Old Smokey.
Oh, man. Just a shame.
Right. So Irvin
That
makes
one
for
hurts as a
sure.
Browns fan.
Yeah. I think Plex made it onto most of our lists, so I think he'll make it in it too. Number 3, I think Randy Moss, just off of having 2 guys that said him. So I think that might be what we give him. I think Randy Moss makes it in at number 3.
That's a solid core.
That is a really good.
Like,
so far,
anybody
this
would be
team
happy
scares
with
me if I'm a
Yeah.
defensive player. All right, on to tight end. I'm really afraid to go with this one. Aaron Hernandez. He killed some people.
A couple,
Just a few.
I actually don't have Aaron Hernandez. This is a bit of a homer pick too. Another Browns player, but a really special talent at tight end before he started sexually assaulting women. But Kellen Winslow Jr.
Oh yeah.
Son, obviously, of legendary Kellen Winslow. But when he played for the Browns, he was very solid until he got into a motorcycle accident. And after that, everything just kind of went to shit. But yeah, he's my tight end pick.
All right. Brady?
Aaron Hernandez.
And Ryan?
I respect the Kellen Winslow Jr. pick. That's a good one. But I went with Aaron Hernandez. You got to go with Hernandez.
I don't think there's anyone else you could have picked at tight end. Kellen Winslow was a great sleeper pick, but yeah, I was like, if you're picking a team of guys that arrest, I'm like, Aaron Hernandez, pretty high on that list.
Yeah, you got to pick the most violent criminal in NFL history.
Pretty notorious murderer too.
Yeah, prolific.
You know how bad you have to kill somebody to get a Netflix special?
Yeah.
OJ killed 2 people and he only got an FX TV show.
Allegedly.
Keep that in mind.
Allegedly.
At this point, I think it's almost confirmed. Like, he has a book that says I did it, and then like an if in very small red print.
If I did it.
Yeah. And then it's like the exact details of
if I was
going to murder somebody, here's how I do it, and here's how I get away with it.
Worth a read if you've never read it.
Yeah, it is a great read. So
he's the only person on Twitter ever that I've ever followed notifications. Like, as soon as he tweets, I get it.
I love his tweets.
Oh, yeah.
They're hilarious.
I love it.
Uncle Juice, man. You got to love him.
Next up, we got offensive tackles. I will say, I know I struggled with the offensive line. I'm assuming you guys did as well.
I only have 3 linemen, so.
Yeah, I was able to find a full 5. They ain't the best, but I got 5. So my offensive tackles, I got Greg Robinson, arrested with 157 pounds of weed by the Mexico border. Never crossed the border. Got arrested in an Uber near the border. And my other one is Michael Oher, who assaulted an Uber driver. We know Michael Oher, great guy. I'd still arrest for assaulting an Uber driver. So those are my 2. I think that's a pretty good tackle set.
Dare I say he blindsided him?
Oh, take a lap.
We'll walk that one off.
That's solid. Hold on, my dad's calling. Okay. Whoops, sorry. Anyways, I have Jason Peters. Yeah, DUI.
All right.
And then Barrett Robbins, who kind of went off the deep end when he was with the Raiders, and he just kind of disappeared for a while. Ended up getting arrested. And then, yeah, those are really my only 2 of note. So I'm just going to stick with those 2.
All right, Brady.
Greg Robinson and Michael Oher.
All right. I promise he doesn't just copy from me. It's just some of these positions, like, he's like, I need another offensive tackle. And I'm like, Michael Oher's the only one I could find.
That's the one I was thinking of.
All right, Ryan.
I went with Jason Peters as well. Like Kody, drag racing and resisting arrest in Louisiana, and also arrested for loud music and disturbing the peace in Louisiana. So
that's tough to do in Louisiana.
Shreveport hates music.
Yep, Shreveport hates music. And then my other one, I'd like Michael Oher as a former Titan, but I went with another Titan. And it really upsets me how many Titans and Oilers I have on my list. But B-Hop, Brad Hopkins, bookend right tackle for the Tennessee Titans for a long time. A really great player. Right after his playing career was over, was accused of assaulting his wife, got a domestic violence charge. So it's sad, but B-Hop still a guy I really like, even though he can't keep his hands off his wife.
Yeah. All right. So
can we just circle back to 157 pounds of weed?
Yeah, that's 1 me worth of marijuana. To give everyone perspective,
insane.
That is 1 me worth of marijuana that
if I'm
he
not
put in an
mistaken,
Uber.
Too, that was not his only arrest for that.
But he's also in jail for like the next 15 to 25 years. So
yeah, that's obviously an intent to sell or trafficking. One of the 2.
That's trafficking. That's
so
also under trafficking.
That's so much.
All right, but I guess now we got to kind of elaborate on who we think the starting 2 tackles would be. I think Oher makes it. He was talented. I would say Oher and Jason Peters are my 2 final decision.
For sure.
All right, next up we got guards. Again, this is one that was like filling out the line. Not all of us are to fill positions. My 2, I got Nate Newton, who played in the 80s and 90s, that was arrested with 213 pounds of marijuana.
Well, that's even more marijuana.
Even more weed. And I flexed Barrett Robbins, who Kody said earlier, who had that big downturn. I flexed him over to a guard because I needed to fill a position.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'll agree with you on those two. Like I said, I couldn't even find a handful of linemen that I really wanted to put on that list. So I'll stick with yours.
All right, Brady.
Same with yours.
All right, Ryan.
I went with Nate Newton. Played on the best offensive line ever as my left guard. Also, I like that he spent a couple seasons at right tackle, so you got to have some guys that you can play with. You know. Also on his rap sheet, he had during a high school prom party, which I'm not sure why he was there. He had sex with his 17-year-old babysitter. So, really good guy.
Yeah, stand-up guy there, I guess.
And then right guard, I went with Marco Rivera, the 3-time Pro Bowler for Green Bay, great player. And he got a DUI, and this is the first of many on my list that got DUIs. When I was looking this up, I realized like you have to have at least 2 DUIs to be all pro. Like you have to.
It's a requirement to be on the all pro team.
Yeah, it's insane how many DUIs.
Such a good golfer.
There you go. You know, if I just started drinking and driving a little bit more, I'd be able to rip them 300 off the tee. Yeah,
exactly.
Free trip to Orlando.
Shit.
That's why my football career ended.
All right, and next up we got the center position. I was only able to find one center in the past 20 years I was arrested, and it was Jeremy Newberry, arrested on assault. I was like, he's a quality player. I wasn't able to find the details of why he was arrested, but that was the only center I could find.
Yeah, same here. He was the only one I could find.
Brady?
Didn't look, so I'll go with Andrews.
See, I went with Baron Roberts here because he did play some time at center in his time at Oakland. And really interesting dude. He's had like his rap sheet's crazy. And life has not been kind to him after his pro career. You should definitely look him up if you don't know the full story. It's insane.
Yeah, it is a sad story of the NFLPA not doing their job well enough. And that was one. It felt bad for me to put him on here. Like I was like, I think he was just a product of circumstance that he really couldn't control.
Yeah, he just had mental health issues, and no one helped him out with it. Like it's sad to see.
Bipolar and clinical depression. For his playing days and throughout life, he's struggled with that.
All right. So that's all of our offense. I think that's pretty good offense. I think where we're struggling is keeping that line secure. But,
yeah,
in terms of weapons, that offense is going to be pretty unstoppable.
But with Vic, I mean, Vic's going to be able to get out of the pocket. So
yeah, Vic can break the pocket pretty well.
And if the defense sends the dogs, they'll just make them fight each other.
Yeah. All right. All right. So next up, we got our defense. Starting off, we'll go defensive ends. I got Greg Hardy, domestic abuse. He turned into a UFC fight that wasn't good. So it turns out he didn't hit well enough. And Everson Griffin as my other one, public intoxication and assault, weeks apart in 2011.
Yeah. I also have Greg Hardy and Will Smith as the other.
All right. Brady?
I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with Cody's.
Kody?
Because
Greg stealing everyone's picks.
Well, I don't know anyone. I'm innocent.
Yeah, he's still innocent. We shouldn't be subjecting him to this. I kind of feel bad. All right, so Ryan.
I went with Dexter Manley as one. Arrested several times. Got in trouble with the NFL substance abuse policy as well. Multiple prison terms for drug problems, and a great player. And then Mark Gastineau, who was pretty interesting. I knew of him. Really, really great player. 5-time Pro Bowler. And he was actually the all-time leader in sacks for the Jets when he actually...
Nope.
Yeah, for the Jets when he retired. But he did a lot. A lot of stuff that he got in trouble for. He got repeated assaults, drug possessions. He had a habit of putting his hands on women. And he broke parole a couple times, admitted to using steroids. It's a crazy. He burned his girlfriend with a cigarette lighter. Like, Just a long list of stuff, and a fantastic player, a great player. But my favorite is he started a career in boxing after his pro career ended. Took on Derek Dukes, who was, a solid boxer, and knocked him out in the first round. And, looking really good because Dukes being a professional fighter. He later admitted that Gastineau paid him to take a dive. And so, like, no matter what this dude's at, he's like always just fucking
something
stuff
shady's
up.
going on.
Yeah, I love him though. Dude's lived an interesting life.
Yeah. So I guess final picks. I think Greg Hardy makes it for most of us. Real piece of work, but great defensive end. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who to put for the other defensive end here.
Ryan might have sold me on Gastineau.
Yeah, Gastineau has you sold,
dude. And a 5-time Pro Bowler, and dude just has a rap sheet.
Yeah. All right, so moving into the defensive tackle position, I got Albert Hainsworth arrested for assault, and this is where I put Will Smith. I moved him interior, arrested for battery.
Yeah, I also have Hainsworth, so I'm gonna stick with Hainsworth.
Yeah,
definitely. That's it's a shot at Ryan, but he could take it.
Does Myles Garrett count as getting arrested?
I mean, he got investigated, but he was never arrested.
He was never arrested, yeah.
Oh, then I don't know.
Man, you gotta do some more research for these shows, Brady.
Was Larry Allen even arrested? He seems too big to.
I know.
Not Larry Allen.
Jared Allen was arrested.
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen, but again, he was at the end position. That's the thing.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
There's some positions that are just prone to great players that get arrested.
Wide receivers, corners.
Linebackers.
Safeties, dude. Safeties too.
All right, Ryan, you want to go?
With the boy Albert Hainsworth, another Titan holding it down for us, making us look good. And then also went with Jim Dunaway. Now, this is the only person on my list that was never convicted. His wife was had her skull broken and was found dead in their pool.
Oh, God.
They didn't find enough evidence to ever. He was convicted, but he was never. He was accused, but never convicted. But his kids, his own children, sued him and won the case against him for the fact that he let her die, wrongful death. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Four-time AFL All-Star, had to give him $500,000 to his kids. That's got to damage the relationship when all of your kids firmly believe that you killed their mom.
Yeah.
500,000 could make up for it.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, I mean, come on, $500,000.
Yeah, I could buy a Lambo. I'll be okay.
I'll still go to Dad's for Christmas.
Gotta stay away from the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not swimming.
All right, so I think final verdict, Albert Hainsworth 100% makes it in. You got me sold on the other position. You're really making great cases for these horrible people.
Yeah. Oh, I did some digging on this one.
And what was his name again?
Jim Dunaway.
Jim Dunaway. Yeah, okay.
All right, now we get to move to the fun position. Linebackers. I started off left outside linebacker. We got Lawrence Taylor for me at left outside linebacker. Man loved his cocaine.
Cocaine and underage women. That was kind of LT's thing. But yeah, that's hey, mine too.
And crack. He liked crack as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. You remember the scene in The Waterboy where he's like, and that kids is why you don't do crack. That's just an all-time scene.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
Any Given Sunday he appeared in and was just I was like, is he playing a character or is this just how LT is on a daily basis?
They just gave him some coke and were like, here's some shoulder pads.
No, cracking people's legs. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go with LT.
LT as well.
I had LT on the inside, so left outside I went with Von Miller. He's gotten in trouble a couple of times for driving with a suspended license, and now under investigation for whatever it may be.
Yeah, I can't remember what. All right, so yeah, it seems like Lawrence Taylor is somewhere in this lineup for sure. All right, So next up, we'll move to the right outside. I got Reuben Foster on this one. I know he played interior, but Reuben Foster in his 4 years in the NFL managed to get arrested like every 2 months, I think. Got arrested for domestic violence, drugs, DUI. This man like had a rap sheet in his short NFL career.
No, I also moved Reuben Foster outside because I remember every week hearing something about Reuben Foster getting in trouble. So no, I agree with that one.
All right, Brady.
Reuben Foster. I don't know who it is.
He played in like the late. It was 2017 to 2019 for.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
San
I know who he
Fran.
is now.
Yeah, it was like every month or so you'd hear something in the news. Reuben Foster's arrested. Reuben Foster's been charged.
I didn't go Reuben Foster here, but I went with a guy who has just as impressive as a rap sheet. I went with Aldon Smith.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a pretty good one. All right, and then middle linebacker. I don't think we're gonna deviate much on this one. Ray Lewis.
Yeah. I got Ray.
See, I was going with guys that had convictions.
Yeah.
So I didn't go with Ray. I went with LT, and then my other interior is Bill Romanowski, my boy.
Did he get arrested?
I saw his name and I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, he got in trouble with the Balco steroid scandal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Romanowski.
Part of me was like take talent, and then I was like, oh, so maybe the crime sheet part of it. So I was like, oh yeah, Ray Lewis killed some people. He's got to be in this team.
Yeah, I had Ray and Alden inside, so.
I do like my favorite Romanowski quote though is they asked him if he used steroids, and he said, "I would have drank gasoline if it would have made me run faster."
He loved football.
Oh, dude, loved football.
Not knock him on that.
All right, so now I'm moving to the cornerback position. I got Pac-Man Jones, who got arrested for public intoxication, drugs, assault, reckless endangerment, and I got Ty Law for resisting arrest.
Yeah, this is a stacked position. I also have Adam Jones and Charles Woodson, who got a DUI.
All right, Brady.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ty Law.
You need 2 corners, Brady.
Oh, and was Darrell? No, not Darrell Revis. What's the one arrested. You said? Yeah, Revis.
All right, Revis and Ty. That's a pretty good one too.
I have an all Tennessee Titans secondary with my boy Pac-Man, which I wrote on my list of like, what they're arrested for. And I just wrote, it would be easier to list the things he hasn't been arrested for.
Yeah. Murder. That's about it.
Also fantastic punt returner too. So
yeah, he's my return man. I don't know if we were doing return man, but I
didn't think to do a return man. I really didn't think to.
I actually went with a different return guy, but he's a guy that could be up there too. Especially punt returns. But the other one's Samari Roll. Titans legend, has a domestic violence. By the way, guys, domestic violence got a 1-game suspension for it.
Yeah, in the NFL, you can do anything you want. You can beat women, beat kids, beat dogs, fight dogs. As long as you don't smoke a bowl, you're fine.
Yeah, as long as you're not smoking. Lawrence Taylor smoked crack while he was playing in the NFL. It wasn't like it was off season. Like he's doing it while he's playing. So it's only we they care about.
Don't you dare touch a blunt.
You ever think about like, would he still be the same guy? Would he still be in the conversation of best ever between him and Ray if he didn't smoke crack? Like, did that give him the leg up he needed to be?
Does smoking crack while playing give him the edge? I think so.
Yeah, it was like Marshawn Lynch drinking Henny in the locker room.
That was his Skittles. Like his Skittles were just crack cocaine.
I'm afraid we're gonna have to bring you guys back on and do it with an NBA team.
Oh, the NBA will get nasty.
That'd be fun too.
Oh, I'm afraid to see what that one would be. All right, so I think final verdict: Pac-Man Jones makes it 100%. Yeah, it's interesting. Ty Law is one of those. I think he's one of the greatest like Patriots defensive players, and that's why I put him in.
Definitely.
Roll is again. That's tough. Even
Woodson was a great pick too. Like I forgot about. Well, I should just assume we should just make a list of the best players of all time because all of them have gotten DUIs. Evidently.
Yeah, they've all been arrested probably.
No, I have Samari Roll written down until I saw Charles Woodson's DUI. I was like, nope.
Yeah, talking about one of the best ever.
Yeah. I will say I'm not going to pick Woodson because he is later up. He's one of my safeties. I think I go with Samari Roll. That man, yeah, he was really good, and I guess I forgot about the arrests.
Talented player.
Is he related to Antrell Roll?
No.
Gotcha.
I don't believe
he was
so.
Good in college for the Giants.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
That's just a little side piece.
No, you're good. Next up, we got free safety. This is where I put Woodson.
I actually know where I have one.
All right.
Looked up one. Eugene Robinson. No clue where he is. Just looked him up on Bleacher Report.
No, Eugene Robinson was my guy too.
You guys all put Eugene Robinson, didn't you?
I flexed Eugene to strong safety.
All right.
Because my free safety was more talented.
Who's your free safety?
Darren Sharper. One of the best free safeties of all time. 8th all time in interceptions, career interceptions, 3rd all time in career return yards, 2nd all time in pick sixes, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All Pro, and ended his life. He'll spend probably the rest of his life in prison after a string of sexual assaults. He got convicted
last year?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I saw his name pop up a bunch of times, and I was like, for what he did, I was like, I can't even put him on the team. It was just like, these are so bad.
Oh,
I feel horrible for even mentioning.
There was this free safety. There was a lot of guys that you could have put on this list as well.
Yeah.
Sean Taylor.
Yeah, that's where I have him. I flexed him to strong safety.
Yeah,
I did too. Fun fact about Sean Taylor.
Fun fact about Sean Taylor: he's been arrested twice.
I was gonna say he's dead.
Yeah, when Kody said fun fact about this guy, it means he's died.
It
means he's dead. 100%. That's his Steve McNair go-to line. But there's so many. Free safety, you can pick 4 guys that are top 15 ever to play the game free safeties.
Yeah. Julian Blackmon was another one that he was notorious for being arrested.
There's quite a few. It's a position that's we said earlier, offensive line was tough.
But safety some of these positions, you're like, this was so easy. It was actually tough to pick which guy to pick.
Safety was just picking what all pro you wanted.
Yeah.
Right. No, I also flexed Sean Taylor down to my strong safety. He's just a big hitter, so he could have done well down there.
I would say Sean Taylor definitely made it into this team because I think everyone saw his name as an arrest and went, well, he's amazing, so he's got to go in.
Definitely.
I went with Eugene Robinson as strong safety over Sean Taylor only because obviously we never got to see Sean Taylor's whole career pan out. We got to see Eugene's and it was fantastic. It was a very high level. But there's a strong argument to be made that Sean Taylor would have been as good or better.
Yeah.
If he had the time to be.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite thing about Eugene Robinson, the year he got arrested. So he got arrested the night before the Super Bowl for offering money to a lady of the night, which is a great story. But this was just a couple months after he won the Bart Starr Award, which is given out by a Christian group to a player of high moral character.
That's just amazing.
That one, yeah.
That's awesome. That'd be like AP winning the Walter Payton Man of the Year and beating his kid. Right.
It's too perfect.
No, it'd be amazing. Finding out that Myles Garrett's out for Walter Payton, but in the off season he live streams bum fights or something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, moving into special teams. I just did kicker, punter, and I ended up finding a coach. I know you guys said you put in return men. I really couldn't differentiate with some return men. I was like, you could really put any receiver or running back in a return position and they do decent. So I kind of went, we don't really need to put that in. But that was just how I did it. But we'll start off with the kicker. I got Matt Prater for DUI.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Solid choice. I have Sebastian Janikowski gotten in a drunken brawl. Got the old sea bass in there.
Yeah, I was between those two. I was like, Prater can hit the ball real far. I was like, I'm gonna put Prater in. I took talent over.
I just love Janikowski, man. He was the number 11 overall pick in his draft. That's just awesome. You gotta love the Raiders.
Ryan.
I think that Prater's probably the better kicker, but I had to go with Seabass because the rap sheet's so good. The bar fights, the drinking, the reckless driving, bribing a police officer, evidence tampering. He also was caught with possession of GBH, which is the date rape drug, GHB, which is a date rape drug. Dude is like, he's done it all. This dude is like the one, because kickers are normally kind of boring. He's like the one bad boy kicker, like the one rebel.
A bad boy kicker.
Yeah. He's awesome, man. And, getting, like Kody said, dude was drafted at 11. Like, absolute legend.
All right. Next up, we got punter. I got Pat McAfee, who allegedly got drunk and went into the Indianapolis Canal.
Yeah, I also have McAfee. I don't believe he'd do something like that. He just seems like a nice, upstanding guy.
I mean,
yeah.
Here we go. Everyone.
Hell yeah.
Pat McAfee.
He'd be the only punter worth getting a jersey for ever in the history of the NFL.
Exactly.
Ryan has a take that Pat McAfee is the only football player to ever be a punter.
Yep. 100%. Kickers and punters are not football players. They're soccer players that put on shoulder pads, except for Pat McAfee. He's the only exception to the rule. You can look up Pat McAfee has, like, you go on YouTube, he has his best hits. There's like thousands of videos where you can find him. Dude could lay the wood.
He was a linebacker in high school.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, linebacker and played
Pat,
soccer.
I'm looking out for you, buddy.
All right, yeah, Pat definitely was one of those ones I think we gave unanimous. You took somebody other than Pat McAfee?
Oh, Todd Sabron, whatever his name is.
He was, he got arrested a lot, but Pat
Yeah.
McAfee did it better.
Yeah, he was. I had him on my list, and then I put Pat on.
Todd got arrested for assaulting a taxi driver.
Yeah, dude had like
Pat McAfee is Pat McAfee though.
He had like a Janikowski like spree though. Dude was on fire.
I love Janikowski. I was sad when he retired.
I thought he still played. I really thought he was.
He played for Seattle like a few years ago and got cut. I think he's just done.
He was
now.
bad too. Like he was not hitting kicks.
Yeah.
No.
All right. If you guys want to give your kick returner, I gotta see if I can think of one.
Pac-Man.
That's where you're putting Pac-Man at.
Pac-Man. There was two guys though that I thought about, like kick returners, that was hard to pick between. And it was between Dave Meggett and Mercury Morris. And I ended up going with Meggett. Mercury Morris though had like every player, it seems like, in like the 70s, 80s era had a cocaine problem. But Dave Meggett, he got arrested for assaulting a prostitute and
double whammy there.
Yeah, and sexually assaulting his girlfriend later on. But a Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, was a gadget player, played like 8 different positions over his career, and 7th all time in punt returns for touchdowns. So really solid return, man, and impressive rap sheet too.
Yeah, Mercury Morris gets a pass because he went undefeated one year. It's okay.
Yeah. And he, that wasn't his main position either. That's why I kind of went with Meggett. He was the best. His best thing he did on the field was returning.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually just for Kody also pulled out an owner, the owner of this team. It's got to be Jimmy Haslam, right?
Yeah. Old Jimmy.
Currently being investigated by the FBI and IRS. Like,
I hope he gets arrested so he can sell the team. I fucking hate the Haslams. Worst, man.
But the Browns have been so good under him, so it's hard to get rid of.
Can they just like arrest every Cleveland sports team owner, please?
Yeah, get Dan Gilbert the fuck out of there, Jesus.
Paul Dolan can die. Like, hot take, Paul Dolan could die, and I would not be upset. After what he's done to Cleveland, it is up there with Art Modell. Just kind of like, you take everything nice we have and shit on it. All right, in my final position, I put in a coach, Titans' current head coach, Mike Vrabel, who was arrested for assault back whenever he was at OSU, made a trip to Kent with a buddy, got arrested for assault. Then once he joins the NFL, goes on a riverboat casino and commits theft.
Nice.
Braves is such a cool guy, though.
Oh, that dude's awesome.
Man willingly would cut off his penis to win a Super Bowl. That's some mad respect right there.
100%. That's what you want in a coach, man. That's what you need.
Yeah, Belichick's never said that.
Andy Reid did it.
What? Well, I think that's all we have for this show. Really would love to thank Ryan and Kody for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Have myself, Aaron, and Sacco on their show later this week. We're really excited. I don't know what they have in store for us, but I'm sure it'll be great. I think we might have to bring Ryan and Kody back on for an all-time NBA arrest team.
Oh hell yeah!
Maybe around the NBA Finals we'll do it. Just kind of, hey, we need some extra content. Toss this in.
The Fighting Lamar Odoms.
Yeah.
Ron Artest. I mean, come on, like this will be fun to do it for the NBA. But that's all we got. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out their channel in our description. Like as you've seen in this episode and our past episode, they are hilarious. So check them out. Try and find some way to help them out. Again, open call at high school, college players, high school, college coaches, anyone with any know-how about sports that wants to be heard and have some laughs with us. Shoot us a DM on Facebook or on Twitter. We're always excited to have people on. The guests are kind of what make the show, and it's really true, especially with this week. They made it so much more fun. But that's all the show. Thank you guys for tuning in.